So, welcome everybody. I'm Denise Arminio, and we have Claire McIntyre with us also here today to help answer your questions. She's going to be manning the chat area while I do the demo. And what else can we tell you? I've been using the Genius and been a Genius biofeedback practitioner for about 2 years now, and I love it. I love it. I also have my own energy healing practice that I integrate the Genius with. So it's been awesome. You can reach me at Denise at Insight Health Apps if you have any questions or need me. And you can also reach Claire. Claire, what's your email?
My Insight Health Apps is not currently working, but it would be Claire at Insight Health Apps. I help out Connie on the hub, so you can contact me there as well at the Insight Health Hub via Facebook.
And I'm usually the person you'll see when you go to support. So if you have questions, it's usually me that's there. Anyway, so today we will begin with a scan. Is there anyone that has any physical pain that would like to volunteer? If so, just like write in the chat your full, I'll see your full name, but your birth date, and then we can pick one that comes up. If there's anybody that has a birthday in the month of December, let me know and I will choose you as the person that's closest to today's date. If not, let's see, no one December yet. So if we don't have anybody with a December birthday, I think Elizabeth is next in line with a January birthday. So is there anybody else? Anyone? Any other takers? All right, Elizabeth. Well, let's start with you. I'm just going to type your, type your name in here. And I'm going to put your birth date. So that's January 22nd. And then what's the year, Elizabeth?
47.
It is. Okay. That's what I thought. And female. Okay. And I'm going to unmute you for a minute, Elizabeth. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi.
So what is going on? You have neck pain? What
yeah,
type?
for about the last 6 months, I've had just sort of an aching neck. I've never had that before. I've been to the chiropractor several times in the last several months, trying to see if there was something that was out of alignment. So it must be a muscular thing, or either that or an emotional thing, and probably ultimately an emotional thing.
Well, that's likely. Now, how would you rate the pain on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe?
Oh, I'd say maybe 4. Yeah, it's not severe in any way. It's just I'm aware of it, and when I turn in a certain way, it reminds me that it's there. And then at that point, it's probably a 5.
Okay. All right. So let's get started. So I've put in your information here. So I'm just going to hit next on the bottom of the screen. This is just information if you want to add for your client's info. I don't normally fill this screen out, but you're certainly welcome to, and it doesn't affect the scan in any way. I'm just going to screenshot a quick picture here of you, Elizabeth.
Sure.
And
Hey, got Connie.
Oh, my little, I might have to do that again. Hold on. Whoopsies. Okay, sorry, my invite. So Claire, if you can monitor that, I couldn't see my screen to add this to photos.
Which bit?
Okay, so now I have a photo. Okay, so now we're ready for the audio part. So Elizabeth, I'm just going to ask you to say your full name and then repeat A-E-I-O-U until the 15 seconds are finished. You'll see the white line go across.
Sure.
So I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin, and then you can start. You ready? 3, 2, 1, begin.
Elizabeth Dempsey, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to hit next on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And I'm going to hit continue here. And then I can hit in here and to add photos since I've already added it to my library. And there you are. And I'm just going to hit begin analysis. And continue. Okay, so this is the main page. For those who may be doing trials, you would not see libraries, the library banner here, unless you've created your own. So just in case you're noticing if anything looks a little bit different here for you. We can add an affirmation here.
Okay.
Is there something you would like to add?
I am.
I'm sorry about the phone, you guys.
No
Just
problem.
give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's something I like putting. I am.
No,
Short and sweet.
sorry.
That's okay. Could we put am in caps?
Oh, sure. Do you want it together as?
No, 2 separate words.
Okay. Just I am?
That's it.
Oh, okay, great. All right, perfect. And then I'm going to begin analysis here down on the bottom. And okay, so what we see here is, as you saw on the previous page, we have mind, biofield, and body. And then for anybody that has purchased or created or someone has shared with them, there's also the category of libraries. Because mind is showing up on top, that's the genius telling us that that's where it's finding its most disturbance. So an area to concentrate on. And what else could I tell you here? The numbers on the right-hand side, the genius has a range from 0 to 777. And then these colors that you see here correspond to specific ranges. So 0 to 100 is represented by the color blue. And that's going to basically tell you that anything in this range, it's more chronic. There's been a disturbance for a longer period of time, or like stagnant energy. Then you would go from 101 to about the mid 400s, and that would be represented by green. And from where green ends to where yellow begins, around that mid 400 area, to about 680 is yellow. And then from there, maybe 681 to 777 is represented by red. And those would be more acute disturbance or disturbances that are happening currently and presently. And it could be observed to be more like heat or inflammation. And on the left-hand side, next to each line, you'll see these little arrows, and that's telling you that there's information to go a little bit deeper. So if you were to click on the line, it will give you more information. And I'll show you that in a minute, but I just want to show you your aura. And how you get a picture of your aura is by clicking on the line for aura and then hitting begin analysis.
And while we're waiting for that analysis, I wonder if certain supplements show up under the red or the blue. If they show up under the red, does that mean
what it doesn't mean, and it doesn't, if it's red, it doesn't mean in excess, and blue doesn't mean deficiency.
That's what I
just
wondered.
Means an imbalance.
So I don't have to personally address the imbalance. The genius will address the imbalance.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't have to add more of this or subtract more of that supplement.
No, I mean, I would see if you could correct it with use of the genius. But sometimes it is necessary to take the physical supplement of it, and that's going to intensify, you know, when you pair the energetics with the physical form, it's going to intensify the, not the strength, but it would just make it more like absorbable by your body.
Yes. So, let's say I've tried to address it using the genius, but you know, certain supplements, or let's say certain minerals come up in the red or the green. How do I know whether I need less or more of that one?
Well, it's not telling you that you need less or more. It's telling you that there's a disturbance.
Yeah.
So the goal is to balance it, and then if you're absorbing and getting and eating properly, you should have the right amount.
Okay.
In theory.
Okay.
But you know, if you're seeing something where it's blue all the time and you're running scans and you're not correcting it, then you may want to check with a physician and see if they can test that. But
okay, so the genius can't tell me anything about whether I'm taking too much or too little of a supplement. Is that right?
It's not diagnostic in that sense.
Okay.
No.
That's helpful. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's not a diagnostic tool in the allopathic sense. You couldn't take information from here and go to your physician and say, this is, you know, there's a disturbance or it's not right, because we're just looking at the energetics.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's possible to have virus can show up, and you could have had a virus and you cleared the physical aspect of it, but the energy of the virus could still be present in your body, and that's what it's picking up.
Okay. And can it also anticipate a problem that is developing? You know?
Well, things are always going to appear in your auric field first, or your energy body first. So if you can clear them when they're more current before they get to be chronic, that would be the goal. Yeah. So it's great as far as, you know, maintenance, and keeping your energy body healthy will keep your physical body healthy, because your body will be better able to reach homeostasis if there aren't all these energetic disturbances.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start your scan because we can ask, and if you have questions at the end, otherwise we're not going to get time to
okay. Sure.
Okay, so one of the things that I like to look at first after we do the aura is I'll click on system overview, and that will bring us to general overview, and I'll do an analysis here first. And what the general overview is telling you, and why I like it so much, is that it's really like an expanded version of the first page, but now you're seeing every line item in order from here. It's showing the view is a high or a red at 777, and it will show you in descending order. So you'll know specifically like what your top points or items are that have a disturbance. So your top, let's say 5 that are out of balance are your lung meridian 0.4, your cortex, the Savegiotone 396, your small intestine 0.20, and your skeletal system. So who knows, that could be part of the reason why maybe your neck isn't feeling well in there. If you hit on general overview again, you'll get the reverse view. So now you're seeing everything from the lowest value up. So what's showing up in today's stress, which is more of a chronic disturbance for you, is nutritional, and then digestion. And so these are more general here. Well, nutrition isn't, but digestion, it's not, it's indigestion, which is off. The herb is the dang quai. Hormonal is off, or something, a hormone, it's not telling you specifically here. And then a possible sensitivity to barley, or maybe you eat barley every day and it's not agreeing with you, and that's why it's showing up at a chronic level. So I would run a quick scan here, and I'm going to move the timer up here, and I'm going to run it for 1 minute if I can get it just right. Okay, I'm going to run it for 0 minutes, and I'm going to stop it.
That's the only screen that I feel that it's worthwhile doing a quick balance on, because it's covering quite a few items.
I never knew about clicking on general overview. That's an amazing new realization.
It's really good because it will throw up items that you probably, if you get into a habit, you probably look at the same things, but it will throw up something else that you probably wouldn't have considered. So yeah, it's nice to consider.
Well, excellent. It even gave us a rectification, because sometimes it doesn't when we're on the Zoom, but you did great. You had a 59% rectification in a minute. So that's awesome. Now that's basically a probability. It's not exact, but with all the algorithms, it's telling us that of all the reds and blues on that first system overview page, you had a 59% rectification. So
if I ran it longer, could it rectify it completely, maybe? If I did a less quick scan, maybe.
It doesn't always work that way.
Okay.
You would think it doesn't stay at 59, and then if you run it longer, you're just going up and up and up.
Okay.
Because it's a probability number. So it's just a probability. So, but that's a really great rectification. Like I wouldn't, from there, I wouldn't really try to get it much higher than that, because now you could go back to the system overview and you can work on other areas. But after having run that, you can know, even if you did nothing else on this page, you've really worked with you've worked with all the reds and blues on the page. Here, what I would do personally, since the mind is showing the biggest disturbance and the brain anatomy is showing as high, I would go into that. I would put brain anatomy, I would drag that into the main hold tray, and I would also look and see what's there. So in this case, I would put the reds, which we can do by clicking on this plus sign down on the bottom left. and just hit red items, and both those red lines will go into the main tray. And then I would also add the cerebellum and parietal lobes because they're below 200. And I would do that for items too that are 600 and above. Maybe not in every area, but because the mind showed as having the highest disturbance, I would add 600 and above and 200 and below. I always do look into emotional and Bach flower essences because emotions are the root for most areas. There are a lot here, and that's not just specific to you, but there's usually always a lot for people. And so I'm going to do just a quick balance here. Again, I'll do it for about a minute.
Oh, I've already learned.
I can't hear so good when it's running here because the audio that comes back from you guys talking. So if anybody has a question, if you can hear it better.
Say if there are any questions there. Laura, were you going to, Elizabeth, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, how important is it to listen to the tones as opposed to just letting it run? Sometimes when it's on my phone, I'll turn the volume down so I'm not bothered by the sound.
I think Ryan has just mentioned something about the efficacy of actually, you know, listening and then feeling and then with the geos, etc. And then you've ultimately got the PEMF. So it is quite important to listen to those. You know,
thank you.
It depends if you're treating yourself as well. It depends. So like if you've got the time and, you know, are able to.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Claire.
No,
so you had a 9% rectification here. Normally I'd like to see that higher. I'm going to add the reds and the blues here just to see to the tray since we didn't get a very high rectification on those. And I'm going to add the reds and the blues for the Bach flower essences too.
Okay.
And usually when we, these flower essences are pretty on point when it comes to telling you what the meaning of the essence on what is may possibly be going on. So I'm just gonna, let's see, clematis it's get grounded in the present, so in the future, so that you can move in the direction of your dreams. I don't know if that resonates with you. Mm-hmm. But that would be really what's happening now. If you wanted to look down at the bottom, so holly, this would be something that would be possibly more applicable to you on a longer period of time. Holly is hatred, envy, and jealousy. Reconnect with your heart and unlimited love and compassion. So again, that could just be about connecting to your heart. So.
Great. Do you have a particular reference that you use for the Bach flower remedies?
Well, with some of the packages, you can get these success cards, and it gives you what the meaning of each flower essence is. Okay. So that's helpful. Or you can, I'm sure, Google Bach flower essences on the internet and find out what the meanings is of them there.
Yeah, get a good listing on there.
Google is good for that. I'm going to move out of the mind now, and I'm going to go into the biofield, which I do feel this is one of the most important areas to work on, and I do spend a lot of time here. So we can go into Saveggio tones, and here you have some that are red. I'm going to just add the reds here. And I'm going to add 528 because that's just an important frequency, and it works with transformation and miracles and DNA repair. So regardless really of what the value is on that one, I always add it. We have spiritual protection. And again, this is always a big one for me to add. And often I actually add all of them depending on how much is in the tray. I am going to add them all. I just feel like when we get them into the main tray, that even though we only show 2 coming up, that you might see more that come up in the red or in the high area. And a lot of times, sometimes when you see psychic attack, that can affect you as in physical pain. So it'll be interesting to see when we run that, where that shows. Nogier, oh no, we have meridians, and we can add the blue ones here. I always add governing meridian and the conception vessel meridian. Those are the 2 main meridians that run the front and the back of our bodies, and where a lot of the energy is then sent to the different meridians. Nogier, we can add the reds and blues again here. And let's just see, Nogier G, I always add because that's the universal frequency. And that one has to do with your brain, both sides of your brain communicating. Let me just see if I can find it quickly. And so, yes, G is brain function, scar tissue, inflammation, universal frequency. So again, inflammation could be with your neck. And A is energy, eyes, post-surgery and wounds. B is digestion, lymphatic, circulatory, and neuropathy. And if you remember when we did the general overview, oh, somebody's here, hold on. Digestion showed up as, I think it was blue actually. So that's, we're finding that we're building a story where we're seeing.
Yes.
Sorry, I have to wait for these Zoom prompts so I can go back out. Sacred geometry we can look at. Again, I would add just the reds and the blues here. And aura, we already looked at. There really isn't more information, although we can add this line for the aura since it does show that there's been a disturbance there for a longer period of time. And in the body, I would want to look at today's stress for you. And we do know, again, from looking at the general overview, that there were a few things in today's stress that were like the highs of the highs. So we're going to add your kidneys in here. And we'll add these blue ones in because nutritional was showing up and hormonal had shown up before. The other thing that I always like to look at is spinal energy. And I do always add all of these. So if we hit high to low, it will lump all the reds, yellows, greens, and blues together.
And how do you do that?
Oh, you hit right up here where it says, now it says default A to Z, but if I were to click it again, it puts it in alphabetical order there. Yeah. But if I hit it high to low, it groups it so you can see which your top ones and your bottom ones. And I'm going to put the blue, and I do 600 and above here and 200 and below. And again, it's just curious just because you have a physical injury. So thoracic 2 is for heart, coronary arteries, and heart valves. It can also have chest pain, bronchitis, pneumonia, and a chest cold. I don't know if that, oh, that wasn't the bottom one, sorry. Well, T3 is lungs, bronchial tubes, and the chest area, so similar. The energetic connection there would be still holding on to past transgressions and wanting to communicate. And then the top item is C1, and that would be headaches, insomnia, high blood pressure, migraines, chronic fatigue, dizziness. Do you have any of those symptoms?
Insomnia.
You do? Okay.
Chronic.
So we can also look at sleep when we also work with your neck. And C1 is fear of being judged. Again, not sure if that resonates.
Yes.
Here we see the digestion, and we've seen liver come up now a couple of times. So I'm going to put the reds and the blues in here. Body symptoms I like to look at. So here we have the skeletal, and here we have digestive showing up again, which is below 200.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a leaky gut for a while, so that would explain.
You have, okay.
Yeah.
Oops. And I don't know why that didn't just go in. Hold on. I'm trying to get the. Okay, so now I'm going to look at our libraries. And I'll do a begin analysis here. Sorry, it takes a few minutes. I have a lot of libraries.
Oh, that's great. You're fortunate. While it's doing that, I'll ask a question and stop as soon as it finishes. I got a number of libraries when I first signed up. Mm-hmm. And with these new library packs, how do you know? Do you buy a library pack and then pick and choose which new libraries you want to add, or is it a certain bunch of libraries that you add?
Well, you can buy any of the libraries a la carte. You don't have to buy them in a group. But if you bought a package and you want to upgrade to like a higher, if you were, let's say you purchased the upgraded package and you now want elite, you can upgrade between the difference of the two. You can do that. There is an ability to, I think it's like 10 libraries, but they're like the single line item. It's not, so if one panel, let's say was, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, don't let me interrupt you if you want to continue on. We can.
Yeah, you just have to go through the website at Inside Health Apps, and it shows you all the different libraries you can purchase.
Okay, thanks.
So I'm going to go into muscles here first. And let's do the back and neck. And we're going to add all these reds for sure, and the blues. And I'm going to do the 600 and above as well for you. So for anybody that doesn't really have like knowledge of all the different muscles, it's not really important that you do, as long as you're following, your system of reds and blues, or 600 and above and 200 and below. It's always nice, if you don't know what it is, to Google it to see where it is, because sometimes that's just validating for yourself. If you find that specific muscle and you're like, oh, wow, that's exactly where it hurts, but don't get yourself overwhelmed by thinking you need to know what every one of these muscles are, because you don't need to do that. We're going to look at muscles in general. And I'm gonna pull in the fascia in here, and I'm just gonna pull them all in because we don't really know what it is that's bothering your neck. It's not a joint, so I'm not gonna add that. And I'm gonna go then to a pain library. And so we can look here, pain assessment and causes. This acid, a possible magnesium deficiency. Now here, when this is going back to the question you asked before, this is phrased differently. So this is specifically saying a magnesium deficiency. Now it's still not diagnostic in the sense of, I wouldn't go to your doctor now and say I have a magnesium deficiency because it showed up on the Genius as being, you know, a high 600. But again, if you saw it red all the time or blue all the time, next time you have a checkup, you may want to, you know, query your doctor about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put the blue items, and then I'm not going to put these other ones in there. So location, saying you have any heel pain, left heel pain?
Actually, I have. You know, it's never such an issue that I think I have a left heel pain, but when you mention it, I can connect.
I would say that disturbance is higher than, although neck pain is showing up on the high 600s. So I did add that in, as well as headache. But again, a headache could be, you know, you just have a passing headache now. It could be that maybe you need some water and that's why you're getting a headache right now. And we can add these blues down below. And then I always like to go in, the Rife frequency one is one of my favorite as far as pain goes. So I'm going to add all the reds and the blues here. And some of the blues that are showing up are pain relief, ATP, pain of infection, muscle cramp, acute pain, ulnar nerve compression. I don't really see any of these. We could add some of these up here for muscle pain and injury because they're below the 200. Hip, any hip pain?
No.
So I'll add the inflammation and to oxygenate cells in
That's
here
a good one.
because these are within the 600. Sometimes it's just using your intuition. You said we have 116 items in here already. I want to look at sleep for you because you also said sleep was a concern.
Yes.
And so what's the issue with sleep? Can you not fall asleep?
Well, I'll tell you, at the moment, I'm taking a number of different things to help me sleep. So it's hard to know what the real situation is. But even with that, I find that if I wake up in the middle of the night, it's hard for me to go back to sleep. Okay.
So sleep through the night. Let's look at that one. And here I'm going to add the 600 and above and 200 and below. Okay, and you can fall asleep. I'm going to look at the nervous system reset for you. And I'm going to add the reds and the blues here. And do you find that you're like, when you're awake and you can't fall back to sleep because your mind is racing and you're thinking about things?
Yeah, my mind is always going day and night. So
I'm going to also look at an anxiety. I find that's, so I'm going to look at this one for a quick relief and transformation to courage. And I'll add the reds and the blues here. And then we're going to run a quick scan. We already have 166 items here. And so we can begin an analysis. And what I like to do is I run it twice, all for 1 minute, rescanning in between. And then, and then I'll run just the highs for 3 minutes. And always make sure that you're drinking water when running these scans. You'll get a much more efficient and better results if you're hydrated.
That's good to know.
I know I found when I first started using the Genius, because I was using it all the time, that I would get a headache. It was because I was not drinking enough water, because I was using it all the time. And once I had water, the headache went away.
Yeah.
So just, you had a 23% rectification, so that's not bad. We are going to run it again. So I'm going to rescan to see what shows up. And I'm going to run all again for 1 minute.
Does that rectification usually hold, or do things tend to default back to that original situation?
I'm sorry, I didn't get all of that.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Frequencies
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
Just in 1 second, I'll help answer that for you.
It will ebb and flow, Elizabeth. It's sort of like backwards and forwards. And there's a question from Angela regarding the pain libraries. There are a number of pain libraries available. Certainly have a look at Insight Health apps.com, libraries, then if not.
So I just want to answer one of the questions. Laura had a question. Laura is saying she doesn't get rectification percentages. Is it because I have a trial version? No, you should always be getting rectifications. If you set it for 1 minute or a set amount of time and you end it before the time ends, you won't get a rectification. When it's on 0 minutes, you usually get a rectification. Sometimes when I'm, and you should get a rectification. For some reason, sometimes when I use it on Zoom, I don't always see a rectification if I have it on 0 minutes, but you should. So if I would just pay attention to if you're stopping it early or why you're not getting those rectifications. So we had 20% rectification here, and now I'm going to hit high. I'm going to rescan again. So what this is basically doing is some of the ones that are going to have a higher probability of clearing right away will clear, and then the ones that need more time in order to harmonize will kind of come to the top. So that's sort of what we're doing. So I'm just going to run the highs now for 3 minutes. And here we have your thoracic 11. This is a homeopathic, GAG. This is your Bach flower essence. And then it keeps going down. So Laura, I'll show you in a minute. anybody has any questions, you can put it in the chat.
You can say,
Those come through.
did you mean to do it for 3 minutes? Perhaps you did. But to get the timer on 0, you just swipe far left so it doesn't register, so it goes past your 1 minute. And then obviously if you're going to leave it playing all night, ensure that it's got the power cable or the battery cable plugged in so it doesn't run out of battery. And yeah, it's good to go. Oh, I tried to answer that for you, Angela. Is it the Elite package that you have? Or are you thinking?
Yes, it is.
It is. So you're thinking that the pain library should actually be in your list?
I'm asking. I don't know, because there's so many on there. I'm like, I don't know exactly what I have and what I don't have.
There are a number, so we need to clarify with Denise which ones it was that she had. It did look actually quite good with all those rife frequencies in, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, you would need to check off your list.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at it.
Okay, so we had a 43% rectification. So Elizabeth, you're asking the question here, if I brought some of these values up to the quick zap, do you get the same results? When you put items in the main tray and then use it in the progressive insights, it's a little bit different because it's looking at everything in relationship to each other. So that's how it's coming up with your highs, your mediums, and your lows. When you put it in the quick zap, it's just running those frequencies that are there, but it's not relational. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. That's really helpful because I tend to put things in the upper tray because I've learned how to run it continuously, like overnight. I didn't realize you could do that in the bottom tray too.
Yeah, you can, as long as you put the timer on 0 minutes.
Yeah,
you can run it continuously. So the timer for the progressive insights is here. For the quick zap, the timer is on the bottom here. So this would be your 0 minutes. And then the timer for quick balance is on the side, which you can't see right now.
right.
Okay, Audra, you're asking why the aura line displays in different categories. I'm not sure I'm understanding because I'm going to back out. We had a 43% rectification here for Elizabeth. So I'm going to look at the aura now anyway. So that was a good time for you to ask that question. So your aura will only show up in, where are we? In the biofield. So the aura is here. And when I click on it, now we can begin analysis. But this is the only place you can get to the aura. So I'm not sure where else you think you're seeing it. And Vita, you're asking, I'm not able to access mine. Can you help me with access your genius in general? I'm not sure.
Can you clarify what is it that you can't access, please?
So here is your aura. It's not a bad aura. I would love to maybe see it get a little bit brighter. it is a little bit muddy in here. You see, you see some, it's getting a little bit bright in there, but so what I usually do from here is I will go into libraries, and I like looking here. I have some different essences. I have like some Alaskan flower essences, and I really love working with those. I also have the gems. I'm going to look at the gems only because it's showing me that it has a higher number, a little bit more disturbance. So now is a good time on how I would show you like a little bit of the difference on the tray. I'm only going to look at the reds and the blues here, but I don't need to move them to the main whole tray. So I would just do a quick balance here. If I wanted to look at work with more, let's say I wanted to use the 600 and above and 200 and below of these gems, but I didn't want to add them to the main whole tray, then I would move them to the quick zap tray and I would run them. Okay, but I'm just going to do a quick balance here for a minute.
And Vita, to be able to help you further, perhaps you can ask that question in the help crunch. It may be that you need to download a new version or uninstall and reinstall. You need to go into it a bit further as to why it won't open. So if you could please check out Help Crunch and they will help you there.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back to your aura and see if this has helped break up some of the energy in there. And while we're waiting, Elizabeth, how is your neck? Do you feel any difference?
I'm still aware of discomfort. As you said, it's not a big problem, but you know, I'm aware of it.
Is it, would you still categorize it as a 4?
I would take it down to a 3 for sure.
Okay.
Oh
so
God.
you can see your aura here, more, a little purple is coming in. It's still not as bright as maybe we would like to see it, but it's definitely looking better in my opinion.
Boy, that, I mean, really my aura never looks very good. So would you say that those Alaskan essential oils are one of the most helpful ways of addressing that?
I think that there are a lot of like solutions, like different flower essences or herbs, essential oils. They all can be used to in the same way. I'm just partial, I guess, to the Alaskan gems. I don't know why. I can run just the flower essences here a minute and see if that does anything. Where'd they go? Ah. We're almost at our hour spot here, but let's just run these for a few seconds and see if it helps.
I'm sorry, can you tell me again where to get help to download it again?
I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
1 second, Vita. It's if you check in with the Help Crunch on the website, insighthealthapps.com, they will give you a direct link, or I can email you one after the webinar is over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
So now you can, well, it's going to revert back. It's the zoom, but you can see, so it's starting to get more brighter and more vibrant. So any of those like solutions are really helpful. You know, you could use the Bach flower essences. They're really great at help breaking up that stagnant energy when you just can't seem to get those bright colors. But I also find, like, if you're using if you have a lot of items in your main hold tray, that often the aura may not look good because your body is processing a lot of those frequencies. Right. So it doesn't mean that it's not effective if you don't see a bright aura. It's just giving you clues on what's happening and showing you what's going on.
Yeah.
So there's a couple. Oh, Claire, you answered it. Thank you. And I think we are all set for today. I hope come next week with some more questions or anything new that you may be working with that you may have some difficulty, and be happy to help answer those. I hope you found it helpful today. And you can always email me at Denise at Inside Health Apps if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. Or Claire.
It's been
or the health or the hub or support.
Yep.
Yeah.
The support tends to be a little bit more for more technical questions if you're having difficulty. So if you have other questions, you know, you can email me and I'm happy to help.
I can't tell you how helpful this has been. I feel like I'll be using my genius in a much more intelligent way.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm glad. And we're always here to help you. So feel free to reach out. There's also different Facebook groups. If you need any of those groups to join, if you're on, you can email us and we can send you the links to those as well.
Yeah. And Audra, I'll email you regarding your question, the autonomic nervous system. So yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, everybody have a great day. And it was great seeing you. Thank you. Thank you. And Elizabeth, thank you for volunteering. And
oh, well, thank you. I'm the one who's really blessed. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay.
All righty. Bye.
Cheerio.